So hello there, back again after 5 minutes gap. I'll continue from the 16th para. The woman said, "You ought to be my son. I will teach you right from wrong. Least I can do right now is to wash your face. Are you hungry? You ought to be my son means, where are you, my son? You ought to be my son. Where are you, my son, my own son? I should have taught you what is right, what is wrong, or what is wrong, what is right from wrong, wrong from right. All these I would teach you. The same thing I'm going to do with you. As you have told, you have nobody at home. But first of all, empty stomach, you cannot be taught anything. So let's have some food first. Are you hungry? Num, said the being dragged boy. I just want you to turn me loose. I don't want anything. Just leave me. I'll get going. Was I bothering you when I turned that corner? Here again, was is used, but actually grammatically it must be where. Should have been where. But you will not change it. You will just write where on top of was, because this is written by the author with a particular mind. So we are not having that much liberalism to change the author's very words. The analysis is that it should have been where over there instead of a was. Ask the woman. No, no, madam. But you put yourself in contact with me, said the woman. If you think that contact is not going to last a while, you got another thought coming. When I get through with you, sir, you are going to remember Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. So she was brief in her speech, very much calculated this time in her speech. She also told him that what had you assumed that you could do anything and just get away? Should I have let you do that? No, I didn't invite you. You came up to me all by yourself. Now you have to face the consequence. The consequences should be such that you will remember me for life. So, now he was without words. Sweat popped out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. This is the 21st paragraph. I think you are noting down all the para numbers. Yes, sweat popped. When do we get popping sweat on our forehead? When we are tensed. We have done something wrong and we have intentionally done it. Fear of getting caught, sweat pops up out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her. Jerked means shook him. Put a half Nelson about his neck. Half Nelson, a wrestling hold. See the footnote, a wrestling hold. Mushti pakano. Half Nelson, and continued to drag him up the street. When she got to her door, she dragged the boy inside, down a hall and into a large kitchenette. A kitchenette is a kitchen cum dining space. It's useful to both the diner and the cook as well, to serve and cook and serve simultaneously. Furnished room at the rear of the house. Rear means back side of the house. Rear means back side, exit, towards the exit, E-X-I-T, back side of the house, back of the house. She switched on the light and left the door open. Please underline each and every word as I am telling you, because anything is important for MCQ and SAQ. The boy could hear other roomers laughing and talking in the large house. Please underline. Now we come to know that this very woman, the large woman, used to run a creche. She used to run a creche, and she had another job too, from where she would return late night because she had to feed many stomachs, including her own self. Some of their doors were open too, so he knew he and the woman were not alone. The woman still held him by the neck in the middle of her room. She could not help to lose him because he told that he had nobody at home. She got it that he had no one to teach him good manners, proper manners. He must be striving from hunger, so he needed food. For all this, she brought him, dragged him home to her house, not with an eye to punish him, but to shower her motherly affection on him. Right? 22nd para. She said, "What is your name?" "Roger," answered the boy. Roger. Don't pronounce it as Rogar or Rogar or Roger. It is Roger. R-O-G-E-R. Pronounce it as Roger. The proper pronunciation is Roger. Then Roger, you go to that sink and wash your face. Sink is the basin, said the woman, whereupon she turned him loose at last. Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. Please underline the entire of it. He was hesitating, and he had something else in his mind as to run away, run off. The moment he would get an opportunity to, so he would not lose that. That was in his mind, that was playing upon in his conscience, in his mind, that he would trick them and just get through, just get going. But no, sir, that wasn't that easy to happen or to get happened. Let the water run until it gets warm, she said. Here's a clean towel. Why did she provide him with warm water? Because it must be chilling that night and he would catch a cold if he used the cold water. And so hot water, actually warm water, hot and cold mixed lukewarm water was available, running through the pipe, and Roger was asked to wash himself, wash his face with a clean towel. You gonna take me to jail? Asked the boy, bending over the sink. Gonna means going to. He was actually not ready to wash his face. He was not interested to doing that. He was rather interested in knowing what was that large woman up to. How would she consider him, treat him? Would she hand him over to the police or take him by her own whims? He wasn't able to understand because she was still a stranger to him. Right? I'll continue. Not with that face, I would not take you nowhere. Not with that face, I would not take you nowhere. This actually should mean, I would not with that face. Full stop. I would not take you anywhere. Nowhere does actually mean anywhere. Said the woman, here I am trying to get home to cook me a bite to eat and you snatch my pocketbook. Maybe you haven't been to your supper either, late as it is. Have you? She was a bit irritated because she was all hungry. She returned late night from her place of work. She had to make her own food, cook her own food, not only for her but the other children, because she maintained a creche. And so, with a bit of irritation that she showed, not anger as such, irritation, she told him that with this uh, words, you are not only wasting your own time but mine too, because it is late night and I'm hungry, so are you, so should you be, as I presume. So let us go and have some food first. There's nobody home at my house, said the boy. Underline. No one is there in my home. Then we will eat, said the woman. Then fine, you don't have to return so early. Let's have dinner and then you will. She didn't speak her mind to him. Whatever she had within herself, she kept it. She was not actually interested in disclosing her strategies, her tactics to the boy. I believe you are hungry or been hungry to try to snatch my pocket. Why were you stealing? Because you must have been hungry. Because you say there is no one at your place, and so you have to make your own arrangements of feeding you. So you must have theft for that or trying to thief for that. I wanted a pair of blue suede shoes, said the boy. Underline. No, I did it for some other job. I was in need of a pair of blue suede shoes which I was not provided with. So I tried to rob you. Well, you didn't have to snatch my pocketbook to get some suits, said Mrs. Twilla Bates Washington Jones. You could have asked me. You could have asked me. Underline. You could have asked me means, you could have asked me means, off stands for have. You could have asked from me. Now, is it possible to ask somebody from a stranger? Do we do that? For my part, I have never done that. I must also presume that you too have not done that act ever. We usually don't do that. From a stranger, do we ask anything? Do we express our need to the person who is a stranger to us? So Roger was very right. How could he? Ma'am, he was so astonished. Astonished. The water dripping from his face, the boy looked at her. There was a long pause, a very long pause, after he had dried his face, and not knowing what else to do, dried it again. The boy turned around, wondering what next. The door was open. He could make a dash for it down the ball. He could run. There was enough opportunity for him. He could have released himself from the clutches of the elderly woman, and with all his feet, boom away from him. But there was not enough strength in his limbs. So that was only an imagination of his, that he could run. The woman was sitting on the day bed. After a while she said, day bed means a sofa type where people usually come and sit. They just stretch themselves from their lethargic tiredness, but it's not a place to sleep. You will sleep in a cot only, cart. After a while she said, I were young once and I wanted things I could not get. Underline. She was very confessing. Right. She was very confessing. How many of us own up our faults, our guilts? Most of us don't do that. Even not to our young ones. because we always like to present us in a colossal form before our juniors. But this elderly woman was not such. She confessed her guilt, she confessed her fault, but not very vocally. She was not very vocal. She concealed it within herself because that would give him enough indulgence to do further such things. She wanted to bring him to the right path. So she would never do such a thing that would indulge him in doing further offense. So she had to be very calculative, but at the same time, she ought to be motherly like. So what did she say to him? That I were young once and I wanted things I could not get. There was another long pause. The boy's mouth opened, then he frowned, but not knowing, he frowned. Frowning means Guru Kochka. Like this. Frowning. Like this. When we are irritated at something or we are astonished, much astonished, out of much astonishment, amazement, wonder stricken, we frown. Fine? Yes. The woman said, you thought I was going to say, but didn't you? You thought I was going to say, but I didn't snatch people's pocketbooks. Well, I wasn't going to say that. Pause, silence. I have done things too, which I would not tell you, son, neither tell God. Underline, underline, underline. If he didn't already know. So you sit down while I fix us something to eat. You might run that comb through your hair so you will look present. There's certain things we have to keep within ourselves. And Mrs. Bates decided not to speak her mind because she wanted certain things to remain within herself and not to get shared with others. In another corner of the room behind the screen was a gas plate and an ice box. Now, a gas plate is something like an induction heater, what we use today. The same thing. Mrs. Jones got up and went behind the screen. You can as well write induction, a machinery, electrical equipment like an induction gas plate that doesn't run with the electricity but with gas. Yes. Looks like an induction, runs with gas, the flow of gas, whereas induction runs with electricity. Mrs. Jones got up and went behind the screen. The woman did not watch the boy to see if he was going to run now, nor did she watch her purse, which she left behind or on the daybed. But the boy took care to sit on the far side of the room, where he thought she could easily see him out of the corner of the other eye if she wanted to. He did not trust the woman, not to trust him, and he did not want to be mistrusted now. Roger was getting transformed. See, the meeting lasted for a very short while. Must be within an hour of an employment of hour or two, the total engagement. So see the capacity of the lady who has a stupendous quality to transform a person all 360 degree from a bad to a good one. And Roger was getting transformed eventually. He didn't want to be mistrusted, neither he could trust the woman 100%. So he was in a dilemma. Dilemma, D-I-L-E-M-M-A. He was in a dilemma of what to do, what not to do. Do you need somebody to go to the store? Asked the boy. Maybe to get some milk or something. See, the boy was becoming helpful. The analysis is the boy was becoming helpful. Don't believe I do, said the woman, unless you just want sweet milk yourself. I was going to make cocoa and of this canned milk I got here. Now this Roger was a guest to her place, a stranger guest. He was a young boy of meager age of 14 to 15. So he was childlike. Moreover, the large woman already considered him as if he were her own son. Would you be my son? I would teach you right from wrong. Yes. So she decided to make cocoa for him. Children usually love cocoa, canned milk, chocos, all this. So she decided to do that. That will be fine, said the boy. The boy was pleased on listening to that, on hearing it, that cocoa was being made. She heated some lima beans and ham she had in the icebox, made the cocoa, and set the table. The woman did not ask the boy anything about where he lived or his folks or anything else that would embarrass him. Underline. Mrs. Jones, as you will know later on, is her name, the large woman. I am not going to tell you the full name of hers, only the abbreviated name, or rather the initial of hers, Mrs. Jones. She was clever enough. Don't think that she was emotional, so she was a fool. Emotional fool. No, she was quite clever. What did she do? She didn't ask him about his family, his upcoming, his breeding, because she could assume that something was wrong with the boy. Otherwise, a lad of 14 or 15 may be mischievous, may be naughty. But when has switched to thieving, there must be some greater cause behind the thing. So she did not want to tease his wounds. ক্ষততে আঘাত দিতে চাননি, tease his wounds. She rather kept him out of this discussion. She wanted to observe him and come to conclusion. Because she was an elderly woman, she had a matured brain, she could easily do that. What for the most greater part she did want? That Roger should be provided with the food. He should satisfy his hunger, and then the rest should follow. Fine? Okay. The woman did not ask the boy anything about where he lived or his folks or anything else that would embarrass him. Instead, as they ate, she told him about her job in a hotel beauty shop that stayed open late, what the work was like, and how all kinds of women came in and out, blondies, redheads, and Spanish. So now we come to know about the occupation of the woman. She must have been a beautician or must have been an accountant at the beauty shop parlor, where women of varied style and fashions frequented the place. Some had golden hair, some had total black and total red, and some cut their hair in Spanish style. Then she cut him half a cent of her 10-cent cake. Roger was given half a cent, half of a 10-cent cake to be had with the cocoa, the heated lima beans, ham. Ham is the portioned meat from a swine, from pig's meat, and it's usually with fat. It's roasted ham. Eat some more, son, Annalyn, she said. When they were finished eating, she got up and said, now, here, take this $10 and buy yourself some blue suede shoes. When they were finished eating, Annalyn, this is incorrect English. So far, grammatical English is concerned. It should have been what? They had finished eating. Where should have been had? She got up and said, now here, take this $10 and buy yourself some blue suede shoes. She fed him with a heavy tummy, and then she gave him $10 to buy himself a pair of blue suede shoes. Some means not many. What will you do with many suede shoes? You would at the max to max need a pair. So some means a pair, and you people can get a picture of suede shoes. It is blue because he wanted that color. It is available in all leather colors, possible leather colors. So you can have a glimpse of it on your website, Wikipedia, Google. Go to search with suede shoes and it will give you a picture of the same. A pair of blue suede shoes. Fine? Okay. And next time, do not make the mistake of latching onto my pocketbook, not nobody else's. Nobody else's becomes anybody else's. Because shoes come by devilish, that will burn your feet. Because shoes come by na, that should be coming as, coming with a thieving level, that it has been theft, will not provide you with rest to your feet. And got to get my rest now, but I wish you would behave yourself, son, from here on. Annalyn. She led him down the hall to the front door and opened it. Good night. Now she had a heavy heart. She had a heavy heart. ভারাক্রান্ত হৃদয় হয়ে গিয়েছিল, কারণ ওকে এখন ছেড়ে দেবেন, ও চলে যাবে। She almost treated him like her own son, as if Roger were her own son. In a minimum time, she developed the maximum affection for him. And there she was hurt. There she was hurt. And she had a heavy heart. She came up to the door with a heavy heart, but had to bid him goodbye. Behave yourself, boy. Annalyn. Behave yourself, boy. Annalyn, she said, looking out into the street. The boy wanted to say something else other than thank you, ma'am, to Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. But he could not do so as he turned at the barren stoop and looked back at the large woman of the door, in the door. He barely managed to say thank you before she shut the door, and he never saw her again. Annalyn. As much with a heavy heart did Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, underline, that was her full name, bade him goodbye in her mind. With the similar heavy heart Roger was leaving her for his life and did not want to be a ungrateful person proven before her. So he wanted to say something more than thank you. This time he couldn't speak his mind. So he kept to himself all through as not much outspoken, but an introvert character. An introvert character, INTROVERT, introvert character, couldn't speak his mind, but was equally with a heavy heart because it was time to leave the large woman who had showered so much of love and trust on this little boy whom the world didn't care. So, this is the story which has been, according to me, in my opinion, taught in absolute minute detailed way. Maybe you will be benefited from it. So go through the story properly now for 10 minutes and I'll be back with the synoptical analysis, summary of the story and question answers. So stay